yourself for what you couldn't change. Keep rehearsing the past, reliving the pain. But healing don't come from holding on tight. Sometimes strength is knowing when to surrender the fight. It's okay to fall, it's okay to rest. It's okay to say, Lord, I did my best. Now watch how he moves when you step aside. Sometimes your silence gives him room to provide. Let go, let God give him control. It ain't your job to carry every soul. You weren't built to bleed for every scar.
Welcome to yet another episode of Surely This Can Be It. Your host Nomfundo Nyakane, and today, by default, I know I always speak ill of the EFF, but the EFF is here to put me in my place, hopefully, and correct me where I'm wrong.
EFF is in the house.
So, sir, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ms. Nyakane. My name is Respect Sondlane, born and bred in Bushbuck Ridge in Malahlekane. Moved to Gauteng in 2005 as a student at Vaal University of Technology. Joined the EFF in its inception in 2013. Right now, I'm the chairperson of EFF in Johannesburg, Sub-Region G, voted by a full conference. Thank you very much.
I was one of them.
What an impressive resume. However, I'm always arguing with Ulu here in terms of EFF. There's a lot of things that I would love to have clarity on. I actually wrote questions so I don't become personal about issues. So let's start with my first question. So your party has been very vocal about economic transformation. From your perspective, what tangible changes have South Africans seen so far?
In actual essence, I don't think there's any transformational changes that have happened, but instead, as the country, we have regressed. We have moved backwards since ANC took over. Only a few people, those who are connected to political power, have actually progressed instead of any other person who is like the normal person on the ground. So most of the people who got successful is people who were connected to somebody, meaning that there has been a layer of a certain elite that has been created, which is the political elite. And then afterwards is those who got privileged to go to university. And those who got privileged to be in university is just a few percentage of the people, which created another layer of just a middle class. They are called the middle class, but I believe that they are the poor, because if they lose their jobs within 6 months, they're back to poverty, So there's totally nothing, because most of our people are still actually living in poverty as we speak right now.
But then do we only blame the the ANC? The EFF has always been in parliament. The EFF has always been in positions of power, somewhat of power. How come we haven't seen any transformation where you guys are concerned?
In actual essence, we have to blame the ANC. Reason being, ANC has been in power since the past 30 plus years. If you look, ANC took over from when Mandela got in 1994. That was the beginning of when we're supposed to push economic transformation from there. But we waited for Mandela's term to end. We thought when Mbeki comes in, we're going to see some changes there and there. Remember, Mbeki had a 2/3 majority, where he had more power to even change the constitution to suit us as Black people to be able to push the economic transformation that we need. First being land restitution. And when you look as well from Mandela actually moved a bit fast with land restitution policies. Mbeki came in, but it started to move a bit slower. When Zuma came in, even budgets were reduced on land restitution. As the EFF, we actually put in a bill in Parliament to say we want to change the Section 25 of the Constitution to actually allow for land expropriation without compensation. We thought it was going to be a win when it was supported in Parliament for it to go for consultations and all that. Everybody in the country agreed that Section 25 needs to be changed. Guess what happens when we go back to Parliament? The ANC did what it does best. It declined it. It made sure that we don't get what we want as Black people. So that is why we have to blame the ANC for that, because with that one opportunity we had to return the land to the people, they changed it to be their own thing that they wanted to do, which is to be pro white monopoly capital. They were told what to do.
So in your view, do you think that with regards to the ANC, that it's by design that the black man is always at the bottom end? Do you think it's something that they are designing in such a way, Uguti? Because I always complain in terms of where black people are concerned, Uguti, we are forced to get RDP homes, we are forced to get grants. So then it's like the system is designed to be forever poor and forever working for the white monopoly.
Of course, the world is managed by systems. And all these systems, when you look at them, they don't favor the black man.
Yes.
Simple example, if we speak of racism, what is racism? Racism is a system that actually favors a certain race instead of us as black people. And as a result as well, systems were created to create the situations we are in. I'll give you a simple example. In Sub-Region G, they always make fun of me saying I'm the chairperson, Yasemiku Queen.
Yes.
And when you look at how Sub-Region G actually came to be, most of these townships, they started as informal settlements. Why is it that people are not given land? You give them land, you just develop the land, and then afterwards you say, here's the land, build whatever that you want to build. Why do we have to put a house there? Why can't we look and say, okay, fine, you can afford to build yourself a house, here's a service stand. Take a service stand, build yourself a house. Because the most important thing actually that is important, it's expensive. It's not the house itself, it's actually the land. Look at the price of land today. It's very expensive when they know very well that as black people, we cannot afford that. So the system, banking system, the financial system has actually been designed to actually disadvantage the black person. If you earn, what is the minimum salary a black person earns? Let's say 6,500 rand. You cannot afford anything. And at the very same time, you still cannot be given land to build, because if you earn 6.5 and you have the land, can you fail to build yourself a house? You can't.
But then with most of us, like, okay, let me not say most of us. With me, my view is that I can't differentiate between the EFF and the ANC for the mere fact, Uguti, I feel Uguti, you guys sideline South Africans. Yes, it's very well, Uguti Mauti, land distribution amongst the people. Which people are you talking about? Are you talking about putting South Africans first? Are you talking about whoever lives in South Africa? Nina, is the EFF, I support Uguti, land without compensation.
No, in actual essence, I don't understand this narrative that EFF is supporting foreigners.
Oh.
Because
you guys are talking about open borders.
Yeah, but the open border policy has nothing to do with foreigners having to flock into South Africa.
But you guys are not distancing yourself from it.
No, we can't. We cannot distance ourselves from Pan-Africanism, because Pan-Africanism simply means that we need to have trades with other Africans within Africa. Firstly, let's speak on the borders themselves. Who gave us the borders?
You'll say the white men.
Of course, it's the white men who came into our land.
Isn't it biblical? Even in the Bible, I mean.
There's nothing biblical about what white people did to us. I'm a Christian myself, and when they came here, the Boers said that God gave them our land. And if you remember, the 16th of December was the celebration of the Boers to say it's a victory day. Yes. And it's a day when they made the vow to their God, to say that if they win that war against Nyakane, they will be considered to have been given that land by God. And after having been given that land by God, they will forever pledge their allegiance to that God that they are talking about. And in actual essence, that is just rubbish. White people came in here as settlers. They found us here living together in harmonies in different tribes. You had different tribes staying everywhere in Africa. No borders. We were neighborly with one another. You see this thing of putting fences around your houses. It was not there. There was just known that there's a family Sondlane staying that side. There's a family Mthembu staying that side. And then white people came with ownership. As black people, we never had that thing of saying that who owns this place.
So now you want to go back to the situation whereby then it's a borderless Africa. Already the other African countries, within their countries, they're having problems. So are you saying that now those countries must come to South Africa to, well, basically now it looks like South Africa is the capital city of Africa. that everybody must come here in South Africa to do whatever needs to be done. Let's remove the borders. Everybody come to South Africa. Is that what you're saying?
No, we are saying let's have a modern day approach to be able to have free movement of people. Let me give a simple example. Practical example is to have one passport as Africa. Not have a South African passport, a Zimbabwean passport, an Egyptian passport. We have an African passport, which with this passport, you don't actually need to have a visa. As it is right now, there are countries in Africa which you need to have a visa for you to visit. We are saying abolish the visa. Let's have one passport. Let's have one currency. And then let's have one economy as the whole Africa, where we are able to move around. If you want to go and do business in Zimbabwe, you shouldn't have restrictions for you to having to go there and be restricted on how to do business.
But South Africans are saying put South Africans first. It's all good and well what you are saying, but all we're saying for now, put us first before you consider the rest of Africa. I mean, you can't take the rest of Africa and say, let's have one economy, let's have one everything, but South Africans are being neglected.
Hence, we are saying let's take a progressive approach. You know, let's have conversations about this. We are saying let's not be ignorant to the fact that Africa in itself, all of it, if it unites, we are going to become a powerful force. But we are not saying that let's just snap fingers and then we just move into that space and then it happens. But we are saying let's sit down, let's have a plan, let's have a way of in which we can integrate the whole Africa to be one economically. However, we still have our internal problems here in our country, which we need to resolve first. And which one of them? It's the economic sidelining of the black people from our own economy. Hence, we have got 7 cardinal pillars that addresses South African problems. Our 7 cardinal pillars are not addressing African problems. They are addressing our own here in South Africa.
So are you saying then it's a false narrative, Uguti, the EFF is not putting South Africans first?
Yes, it is actually, it's a narrative that was created to actually damage the image of the EFF. And let me tell you why. Look at how much money is being spent on propaganda and negative media on the EFF. You know, if you speak about Julius Malema, you trend. You're getting paid. Why?
And I see he's suing us a lot these days. You say something about Julius Malema, Juju takes it to court.
Of course, we need to defend the organization and we need to defend our president, because when you look, why is it that only Julius is being attacked? If it's something is spoken about by the DA, no one says anything about it. The DA went publicly in the national TV and said that foreigners should not be chased away. No one said anything about that. Mkondo Wisizwe, President Zuma himself, even when he was president, stood up and said, "Ningawaxosha ma-foreigner." Nothing was said about it. Thirdly, even Mashaba himself, who is now busy running around and acting whatever in a way which is acting, he was the mayor and he stood up and said, "Do not chase away foreigners." And you know what is even worse? Mashaba was saying illegal foreigners, not foreigners, illegal foreigners should not be chased away. They must be documented. That was Mashaba, the president of
What
HNS.
is the EFF saying about that?
Yes, so as the EFF, our stance is very clear. We are against anything that is illegal, including illegal immigration.
But I've never seen any EFF movement chasing away illegal foreigners.
Remember, as a country, we're not a banana republic. We cannot take the law into our own hands and then we start chasing people because we feel like chasing them away. We have got institutions that have been given power and authority to do that, and of which one of them is the border control. I don't know if you have ever visited the border, if you have been at the border and see how our borders they look like. I've been at the border in Swaziland. I've been at the border in Mozambique. I've been at the border of Lesotho. I've been at the border of Zimbabwe. There's no border, nothing.
Yes.
And then what do you expect when there's no border? What do you expect to happen? If your house does not have a fence and there is cows, and you have planted very beautiful green maize there, what do you expect the cows to do?
To graze.
They'll come and graze in your yard.
Yes.
So it's Home Affairs that has a responsibility of making sure that our fence is protected. The fences that are colonial fences, it's their duty to make sure that they are protected. It's not ours as the EFF. But as the EFF were against the fact that when other African brothers are here, legally or illegally, then they are now chastised, they are now beaten, they are now abused. Why is that happening? When we have got institutions, why can't the police just come, arrest them, and deport them?
But you see, the tricky part is that we feel that, especially where the EFF is concerned, you're not saying a lot to protect the ordinary South African. I mean, there was a podcast that I watched where Julius Malema was there saying, with the South Africans, the wasting our corner, there are certain jobs that we won't do, like security jobs and stuff like that. I don't know where he got that information from, but as a South African, I felt offended. Therefore, the EFF is saying, prioritize non-South Africans over South Africans because there are certain things that we won't do. I don't know, because of we are lazy or we are not educated enough. I'm not sure what the reason is, but it's just one of those statements I think that just don't sit well with most of us.
Okay, let me just correct you there, man. South Africans don't need protection from other black people. South Africans need protection against the white monopoly capital. Who owns the means of the economy in South Africa? Is the white man. Who hires the foreigners? Is the white man. Who pays us minimum wage? Is the white man. At the end of the day, as South Africans, we don't need protection against black foreigners. We actually need protection against white foreigners, because white foreigners actually came into South Africa. They even established businesses.
But that's clearly now
and they exploit us.
But that's clearly now election. In the townships, the struggle is it's overcrowded classrooms, it's overcrowded clinics. You get to the clinics, my queue, you get there at 5 o'clock. When a queue, you get 3 o'clock, but there's no medication. There's no white man in the queue that's fighting in line with me. So I will fight with the person that I see on a day-to-day basis. Because you see, when you go a white monopoly and all these things, we don't see all those things. So we are talking about what we are seeing now, the challenges that we are facing now. You can't be telling me, Uguti, I must watch out for something else that I don't see. I want to deal with what I can see. Before we can eat the whole pie, let's start with biting off a piece of the pie, which is deal with the illegal foreigners in our communities.
So the issue that you have with black foreigners is the fact that they don't have money and they're staying in your location.
Not to go to they don't have money. They are here illegally. I don't think anyone has an issue with a person that's here illegally. They're selling drugs to us. Every other household.
You're actually
has a
wrong.
child.
You're actually wrong. All those people who have an issue with foreign nationals, they don't have an issue with illegal foreigners. They just have an issue with black foreigners, period.
But they have been saying illegal foreigners.
No, I was watching a video just now of when they were in Johannesburg. What Ngizwe and that guy called the Pagelo Mutagati were doing, they were just chasing everybody randomly. Who told them the people they were chasing randomly did not have papers? So because you're black, look at me, my color. You know how many people said I'm from Zimbabwe? And I almost got attacked with the fact that they looked at me, they saw my color, and they just demarcated me a country and put me inside that country. While I'm from here. How do you... The issue is this blanket approach that these people have of just chasing everyone around. It now comes to tell you that this is just them trying to create a black on black violence. It has nothing to do
But people
with
are
foreigners.
angry. But are you listening? With people are angry. When was the last time you were at the CPD? When was the last time you were in Hillbrow, Yovo, Berea? When was the last time you've actually walked on foot, not in a car?
I'm there every day.
So what do you feel?
Look, someone is actually exploiting your emotions, So don't allow people to exploit your emotions.
I'm emotional. I grew up in Johannesburg.
Yeah, exactly.
And I see it's filth. There's stench all over of urine all over the place. People are peeing all over. You get mugged. There's cameras that won't help you if you're in a situation where you need help. Ismo Street has been barricaded with Palisades. It wasn't like that. I mean, City Library stayed for the longest time. When I was at the library, I know this one librarian was telling me that just outside the library, where it's supposed to be a disabled people's entrance, people are peeing there and doing all these sorts of things. There is not enough protection for South Africans. Let's preserve what we have.
No, the truth is that city of Johannesburg, I want to give you a very practical example. If you go now to Johannesburg, in many areas, since we took over the office of community safety. We have been cleaning Johannesburg. We have been making sure that even the hawkers, they are hawking in demarcated areas. As the EFF running that office of
When is this?
JMPD.
Because I was in town 2 weeks ago.
Where
and I was
in town
there
were you
by
then?
Jubet Park. It wasn't as you
No,
are saying.
no.
I was there by North Street. It's not what you are saying. I didn't physically see what
You're
you're
actually
talking
wrong. You know, we're cleaning up that city. But the problem is that we're doing it alone. You understand? And when you're doing it alone, when you are this side, people, they start to misbehave that side. When you are this side, people start to misbehave on the other side. The truth is that, let's say we take power in city of Johannesburg and we own everything there, and maybe we are the mayor, we have all the MMCs. Let me tell you, that city can be proper. Because the problem, it's not the fact that people are causing the rot. It's the system that runs that place that is causing the rot. If people are not, it's like a school. If kids are not disciplined, the whole school won't be disciplined. So that is the problem we have in South Africa. That the systems that we have, the institutions that we have are not doing their jobs. And EFF is working alone. And when they see that EFF is working, they decide to break our image and speak ill about us so that people don't see exactly what we are doing.
But are you doing something about the
We are.
hijacked buildings?
Definitely. You know, maybe, I don't know, you should read the news or maybe go visit the page of our MMC of community safety. We are doing something with the hijacked building. But tell me, we only deal with JMPD, correct? After removing the people from the hijacked building, you have got the MMC of Human Settlement, who must now take over that building and then rehabilitate that building for human settlement purposes. And then they don't do it. What do you expect to happen after 10 days when nothing is being done?
So now what we're going to do now in this situation is we keep passing the buck. So Tina, as the EFF, we've done this far. Let's just leave it at that. Let's blame it on the next person. So you're not going to follow through the process. We're going to, like you say, we are working, we are cleaning up, we are doing all these fancy things. So then you're just going to leave it there and someone has to take responsibility, not you.
No, we are saying give us the power. Give us all the power. Give us absolute power for us to run Johannesburg.
In terms of, we don't trust you enough, Uguti, you will put South Africans first. That is where the issue is.
It's a false narrative, actually. We have always put South Africans first. First, check our policies. You know, do you know the EFF is actually the only organization where it has got policies drafted that are pro-African or South African people, where you can even go into their website and you read them. One, from our own founding manifesto. If you go and read the founding manifesto of the EFF, it will tell us exactly that it's speaking about South Africa. You go to our constitution, you will see that it's talking about South Africans. So we are the only organization that has got a plan for South Africa.
But how are you losing votes and why?
We are losing votes because obviously, you know, who owns the media? You know, I'm very happy that we are having something like this, a podcast owned by Black people, where we can be able to have our voice being heard out there, because everyone else is shutting the voice of the EFF down. You know, you should see wherever EFF is, there's a lot of journalists. But the reason they are there to look for something to criticize. You know, I remember there was a headline that really offended me not so long ago. It was speaking about Floyd Shivambu. It says the former deputy president of the EFF.
Yes.
My question is, why would you address Floyd Shivambu as the former deputy president of the EFF when he has got his own organization?
He holds the EFF account.
Yeah, but then that is his own view, you know. And to tell you the truth, from before you distracted me, that I wanted to show you something. Floyd left the EFF to become the secretary of controversies.
Yes.
But because controversies is not a target, when Floyd does something that is wrong, the media is going to associate Floyd with the EFF. Floyd has founded his own party right now, but when they write a headline, they will say the former deputy president of EFF, when he has got his own party that is president of. Why would someone actually put the headline like that? It's simply because the target is not Floyd. It's actually the EFF. So the media is in a campaign to tarnish the image of the EFF. And
Who's managing the media?
who owns them? Who owns the media? I'm just trying to get you to understand. When the Guptas came to South Africa, they did whatever they did, and then they founded a news channel. They had a newspaper, they had the New Age and all that. Why do you think people with money, what they do, they always have a media house next to them? It's because they want to control the narrative. Because on a daily basis, as Black people, we spend most of our time sitting in front of the television. And then we feed ourselves and we absorb everything that is coming from the television to actually form a perspective. And our perception, influenced by whatever that we see on TV, if every day someone tells you that you are not a good person, you're not a good person, you are going to end up believing it. So that is how the media has actually attacked the image of the EFF to a point of where we are today, where everyone believes whatever that they are saying about the EFF, even without going to read the documents of the EFF. If I was people, I was going to go and read the founding manifesto of the EFF, and I was going to see that everything else that they're saying is a lie.
May I interject there?
Yes.
My leader, what is your take on the March on March? Would you say it is just a spectacle? Would you say it's just a way to divert the attention from the real problem to, say, for instance, confuse the Black South Africans into thinking that the Black undocumented foreign nationals are the problem? What is your take, before I lead you on what is your general take on the March on March?
With March and March, I think it was quite unfortunate that a South African who was patriotic at some point, like Jacinta. Jacinta, when she started this thing, she was not starting an organization. Jacinta was just fighting for space in high school or primary for children. And then some other people, they saw Jacinta and they saw an opportunity to put money to create havoc. And if maybe...
So are you saying the word havoc? I don't know. So are you saying that they're causing havoc for fighting for South Africans?
They are not fighting for South Africans. Let me give you an
for?
example. I will say, me and you, let's have a quantitative analysis of how many foreigners has March and March chased away up from the time they started chasing away foreigners up until today. The foreigners that they can simply say, we have got 10 foreigners are these ones, we have put them in a car and we have taken them back to their own countries. A simple quantitative analysis. Believe you me, you're going to find zero. They're just doing a show. They're just running around acting like they're doing something. There's nothing that they're doing. In actual essence, if you say to me something is happening, you should move somebody from point A, where they went to East London, correct?
Yes, they did.
Okay, in East London, they went there, they did whatever they did. They came back and went back to their houses with not even one foreigner who went back home.
Yeah, but they can't arrest them. They can't deport them.
So what are they doing?
They are bringing awareness. They are talking to the government. I think that's how we got our independence. We march the streets and we say, take note, we are unhappy.
No, they are not even doing that. Let me give you a simple example. These people, firstly, one, how much does it cost to travel alone from Durban to East London? Just by bus, how much?
How much?
Almost 700 rand. Right. So now, let's say bus so many people that they bussed there. Where did they get the budget to bus those people there?
Donations.
From where? Who is donating?
The interested parties. Not necessarily party as in a political party, but individuals, companies. This foreign national, undocumented foreign national saga, it's quite large, and it's quite, until it affects you personally. Like the case we were dealing with yesterday of a learner whose identity document was stolen by a foreign national. Lo mntana khona manje akakhona ukubhala imatric because lo otshontshe i-identity yakhe sekathole imatric yakhe uyafunda enyuvesi, whereas lo owethu a South African uhlele ekhaya, in fact usaya esikolweni with hopes that uzokhona ukubhala. The very same government, the Department of Education, the Department of Home Affairs, failed to come to the party to assist this particular learner. umntana akalazi sasa lakhe ukuthi lime kanjani.
You know what is the challenge? It's a fact that you are telling me about the failures of our own institutions, not of foreign nationals. Let me tell you.
But it involves a foreigner. It's a foreigner.
Because our people sold them that ID.
Yeah, so now why is it that the end user is the one who is being blamed and not this person who is selling this document?
But they are both guilty.
Yes, but why is it that we are magnifying the foreigner? The problems that we have are caused by ourselves.
My leader, without the need for the foreigner to have documents in South Africa, there wouldn't have been the reason for that. I'm not even making an excuse for now, but I'm just saying, bahlala bathi singathengi stolen goods. The minute you say, mfowethu mhlanganisele i-72, asasekhona ama-72 ngitholele i-fact screen lapho, ikupha umdlalo wokuthi uhambe uyogcekeze emzini womuntu uzotholela le client yakho le havala ifunayo.
No, in actual essence, people will always have an appetite for crime. People will always, whether there's an opportunity or not. In actual essence, I believe that the person who creates an opportunity for crime is the one with the appetite, who goes to somebody who has a need and starts selling their appetite to this person.
That foreigner that's illegal needs an ID, or that foreigner that's illegal needs a birth certificate, unless the foreigner approaches you.
No, it's simply because, remember guys, we're staying in townships, we're staying in our own settlement where we stay. You are my sister. You know me that I work at Home Affairs. Then you, as my sister, you interact with your people there. But because I've told you about my appetite, I was Muntulapo who can get me a birth certificate. And then now you are going to meet that guy who has got a need of a birth certificate. Guess what you are going to do? You are going to tell them, I've got my sister who works at Home Affairs. They can sort this thing out for you. You, as the now second person, you are going to bring that person to come and meet me. And then you do the transaction. In actual essence, the problems that we have with IDs being stolen, IDs are never stolen. IDs are sold by our very own people, selling them to these foreigners that are in need because they want to be documented. That is why, as the EFF was saying, let's sit around the table.
They are illegal. They are not supposed to be here.
Yeah, they are not at the end of the day, but we don't need to be blind to the fact that the moment they get here, it's not like they don't know they're illegal. They know very well they're illegal, and that creates a need for them to be legally here.
So does it then make it okay for them to steal another person's identity
it's never
in order to selfishly acquire the things that the very same victim who's now identityless? Is that even a word?
You
hear where I'm going with this.
So,
and another thing, my leader, before I forget, is our party, since I'm a good EFF member in standing, is our party and our president, our CIC, ready to lose the votes of our registered and ID holding members of South Africa to protect our fellow brothers and sisters from other countries?
Let me rather answer you like this. I don't think even if the EFF changes its stance on illegal foreigners that the media is going to support us. What is going to happen is that they are attacking us where they think it's our weakness. So the reason we're being attacked from our point of weakness, let's say we wake up tomorrow and we say all foreigners must go as the EFF. We agree with everybody. They will look for something else to use to criticize us, because their problem with us is not our stance on foreigners. It's our stance on our economic policies. Our economic policies are actually punching right in the face of the people with money. And as a result, the people with money will always look for something that will discredit the EFF, so that the EFF is hated by the people and the EFF is not voted in government. Because they know the moment the EFF is in government, it's going to bring about real change in South Africa. And we're going to see a black man for the first time having power and having authority on their own economy, on their own land, in their own agriculture, running their own institutions successfully. So right now they are happy with the government that is here. Why? Because the government that is here is selling IDs. With the EFF there, no one is going to be sold an ID. Why? Because if there's somebody who is illegal, we're going to make sure that they go back to their country, they are documented in their country, they come back into our country with proper documents, without any abuse. So at the end of the day, the problem is not illegal foreigners. The problem that people have with the EFF, it's our stance on land redistribution, which is the expropriation of land without compensation, which is the nationalization of mines, which is the nationalization of the Reserve Bank, which is free, quality, and decolonized education. The problem is not foreigners. We don't have a policy that says foreigner. All our policies, they speak about the economy and where we stand about the economy. We want to industrialize this country. We want our people to be given skills. Let me give you a simple example. Why foreigners are actually thriving here in our country, and why is it that now there's a wedge that is being created. I'll take Zimbabwe, for example. Zimbabwe has trained their people. The moment they took over the power, they trained their people in trade. When I say trade, it's things that you can do with your own hands. They are very good mechanics. They are very good spray painters. They are carpenters. You know, most of the couches that you find in our houses, they were made by Zimbabweans with their own hands, and they're starting to sell into that market. And that creates a problem. Why? Because our people don't have that skills. And as the EFF, we have been saying from the beginning that we need to create skills for our people. We need to upskill our people, because the moment the foreigner comes in, they have a skill that our people don't have. What happens? They now have an advantage over our own people. So the problem that we have, if our people were skilled and they were in equal par with the foreigners, they were going to be the ones actually who will be exploiting these foreigners.
Okay, this year the government is saying they're listening, because I know in terms of TVET colleges, they're introducing a system where they are teaching skills development. I heard, because we were taking Umpumi to apply, and they said they're no longer doing only theory TVET colleges as of next year. Is it, but in NEC
as of this year?
Yeah, as of this year.
Because she was still, she was supposed to be enrolled in the second semester.
It's a window dressing. Let me give you a simple example. Here in Sub-Region G, how many TVET colleges do we have? None. Zero. Here in Sub-Region G, zero TVET college. You are saying you are introducing a skill. Where are our children going to study that skill when we have zero TVET colleges? So the beginning of wisdom in this thing is actually to build these institutions before actually trying to do anything with these institutions. We must build them first.
But my leader, I beg to differ. There are children, or there are South African youth who are skilled in one way or the other. I feel like you are making a rather careless statement by saying
it's not.
It's a blanket statement.
All those skills.
We are just not going through
leadership.
Or
let me tell you, most of those skilled, let me give you an example. Most of our skilled mechanics, they are working somewhere, VW, BMW, they're already absorbed. They're in a system of employment. Why? Because there are a few. And you know how long does it take to develop somebody to become a skilled, like a technician, or what do you call millwrights? They are trade-tested millwrights and all those. Those people, it takes them almost 3 years to train them. Meanwhile, in other countries, what they do, they start you with semi-skill. And from semi-skill, they take you to become what? A trade-tested either millwright or technician. And then if you qualify for something, then you become a technician who went to study in a university of technology, then you become a technician. And then you have got universities which now create engineers and all those things. But in South Africa, we have got institutions of higher learning universities where we create engineers. Although we don't have enough spaces, I actually have a feeling that says, or a personal opinion that says, we need to have a university in each and every corner or sub-region in the country. Because if we have vets that will tell you that they need an APS score of 48, how many people are going to be able to pass and reach that APS score of 48 when our high schools themselves are struggling like this?
But you see, all these things that you're talking about, I've always said to Oguchi, in terms of former policies at EFF, I've actually liked them a lot. And I remember there was a point where Unjunju was complaining about this 30% that I don't like. I push at the 50% narrative. I like that as well because of, I mean, Umtana with 30% was in, right?
Yeah.
But now, no one is, you know, even if you introduce all these policies, no one oversees these policies. You know, if you are TVET colleges, they've somehow made it not mandatory as such, but private companies are sort of like asked they must take a certain portion. I know of like for students from TVET colleges. I worked at a company where I was actually responsible for the skills development of the youth, right? So we did very well. But then in that process, then I soon discovered, you know, there are some companies that take advantage. So this child will go, so whether it's electrical engineering, whatever, TVET college, and get in one internship, ahlale for 8 months, aphume the next internship, ahlale until that child is 35 years old. Basically, the system kicks them out. Then they find themselves unemployed, and then it comes back again with the South Africans are lazy, or they're unemployable, or there's no skills. There are people with skills. That's why I say, Shogut, you can't put a blanket a statement, Uguchi, there are no skills completely.
Leadership, you see, that one of completely, it's a different story. Let me give you an example, leadership. I went to varsity myself, but not everybody has the mental aptitude to be able to reach qualifying marks to get to university. What happens if you don't reach? What happens when you don't reach a university? But our TVETs, how many TVETs do we have? Let me simply count for you around our area here. Let's talk around our area where we stay here. We're in Lenasia now, correct? The closest TVET colleges that we have is SWGC, which is in Soweto. And then another one, when you go down that way, it's Sidibeni College that is in Vereeniging. Where are our children here in Lenasia supposed to go to school, to go to TVET? Where are they supposed to go? And how many kids that the TVET college take in first year? 4,000. So when you look at that, it doesn't match. The maths does not match. So just coming to also answer you there, we need something below the TVET colleges, which is skills training center. This is just a skills center where it trains a semi-skilled person. You go there, you get trained 2, 3 weeks, 4, 5, 7 weeks, 3 months or 6 months. You are going to be trained there as a semi-skilled person. If you cannot get into TVET college, you need to go and be trained as a semi-skilled, as a welder. The people who are welding our palisades here, you have a gate here, leadership, in your house. That hard gate, it was not done by a boiler maker. It was done by a semi-skilled welder. Somebody who just standing in the street and then they make a gate and they display it there and they sell it. That is a skill that we do not have. Our training center, it's not like we don't have skills training centers. There's one skills training center that I know my brother attended. It's called La Pace. You know how much is it to go and study semi-skill?
No.
For you to study there 6 weeks, it's 16,000 rand. Where do we get that money? There's no NSFAS there. There is no bursaries. There's nothing. Our people cannot afford to get into that system. Why? Because we don't have the money as black people. Hence, we are saying by design, the system that we live in is designed to make us poor. So, who gets to benefit from that semi-skill? It's a white person who owns a company that does welding. And when he owns a company that does welding, why? Because he was a welder himself. He grew up as a welder. His father was a welder. He took over his father's business. He's now doing the welding. Do you think this guy is going to take his child to go to university? No. He's going to take his child, enroll them in La Pace to become a semi-skilled welder. And they come and then they become his assistant in this job. After assisting him, when this guy passes away, who takes over the business? This semi-skilled qualified student or child of his who went to La Pace and paid 15,000. So when they now have that semi-skilled certificate, then they take you as a laborer. You as a laborer, they pay you minimum wage. But then now they have seen an opportunity. Why? Because there are semi-skilled foreigners who are coming into our country. They don't have to train them from scratch. And they don't have to pay them a lot of money, because as South Africans, I'm not going to allow you to pay me 2,000 rand and then I'm like, I'm okay. Then they say, oh, there's this one. He's well trained. He's disparate. Let's take him and give him this job. Now,
so isn't that where the narrative comes in, when we say as South Africans, foreigners are taking over our jobs. That foreigner that's coming in, that's being hired by this white person, isn't that person taking a South African's job?
So if we have free training centers where our people were skilled, probably it was going to be us black people who were going to be exploiting the foreigners. We were actually going to be happy to have them because we would have cheap labor. Because why? It will be us who are owning these companies. It will be us who are running these practices where we're doing welding, we're doing all those things. And it will be us who are taking in and we exploiting them for this job. Actually, you would be happy. But the reason you are not happy now is because you are not skilled enough to build yourself even a small company of making couches. Let me give you an example. In my ward 119, there's an industrial area there in Mansfield. In Mansfield used to be a very beautiful industrial area, but because of whatever, it was left alone, and then those workshops now, they had nothing to be done. And those skilled foreigners, they moved into those workshops. They're making couches, beautiful couches, an L-shaped couch. They make it for you for 3,000 rand, and they sell it to you for 3,000 rand. You know what they use? They go to Coke. See Coke there in Devlin. They get pallets. They dismantle the pallets. They get those Madlanga there, and they build a couch. And the only thing that they pay is just the foam and the material to cover this couch. And when you look how much they actually spend, you find that they only spent about 600 to 700 rand to design the couch. They sell it to you for 3,000 rand. They've made a profit of 2,400 rand. And then with that other 400 rand there, they pay their assistants. That is work that was supposed to be ours as black people. But we cannot do that work because we are not skilled. We can't make a couch. And for the fact that we can't make a couch, even if we chase them away, we still cannot make a couch. The reason that where are we going to learn? We don't have those institutions. Those people were trained by their governments.
So are you saying in terms of the youth, there's no hope then?
There is hope. The hope is the economic freedom fighters. The hope is the economic freedom fighters. And let me tell you why I'm saying we are the hope. It's because we're the only organization with a plan. And what I've just spoken and told you here and everything, I just didn't go and find it on a tree. That is our founding manifesto, that we need to skill the youth. The youth right now, you get out of here, the youth is packed in our streets. You know, how many children do you have, leadership? 5 children. How many are in a skills training center right now? None, exactly. So we are saying your 5 children, 2 of your children needs to be in a skills training center where they're learning as a semi-skill. 1 should be in a TVET college, 1 should be in a University of Technology, and 1 should be in a university. We shouldn't lose any of them to the street. That is the policy of the EFF. But right now, as it is, all these children, chances are they're going to depend on you until you pass away. And when you're done and then you leave as a policy, they're going to kill each other for that million that you left them to be supposed to set them for life. But if they were skilled, they get out 17 years old, they get into a system that trains them. All of them, depending on their aptitude capacity. If this is an A student, university was not designed for anybody. Everybody was designed for A students. People with higher pass marks. People who will get 80%, 90%, 100%. University of Technology were built for people who will get between 50% and 70%. TVET colleges were designed for people who were at the bottom of the bottom. But we still need another layer at the bottom.
My leader, I'm concerned with your confidence towards our black South African children. If I heard you correctly, you say they still, no matter how low already the pass rate is required to enter into TVET, you are still saying that we should actually go lower.
No.
And then, may I finish? Okay, why do you say?
Let me assist you there, leadership. I think maybe that misconception you have, another person will have it.
Yes.
What I'm simply saying is that there are those kids who will just never pass matric. Even you put them and then you say the pass mark is 15.
Oh yeah, in the good old days,
they won't
JCE, pass. I think they're JCE or something, right? If you couldn't get to matric, you had that JCE.
You had a JCE certificate. Yes. Those people just will never pass. But I was supposed to throw them in the dustbin. We need to create opportunities for them.
Okay,
yes.
Another question, my leader, before I forget. Are you saying EFF is only dangling this? I would use the word dangling for a lack of a better word. This manifesto that should we be in power, this is what we will do.
Yes.
Because what you are saying
Yes.
is very perfect on paper, but what is the EFF currently doing? Are you waiting to be in power first before you can actually,
Let me assist you there, leadership.
do that? Yes.
One, EFF has built so many houses for South Africans.
You just don't go public.
We are going public, but the media is stepping down on it. It's trying by all means not to show it. I'll start firstly with your president, where President Zuma stays. The neighbor of President Zuma who had a mud house, the person who built that house of your president's neighbor, is the EFF.
What was
We
that?
built
A stunt?
that house, a proper standard, proper house. It was not a stunt because the other people that we built houses for, they are not neighbors of presidents. Secondly, look at who defended the fees must fall activists when the fees must fall activists were getting arrested. It was us. Let me give you an example of Mcebo Dlamini. Mcebo Dlamini was a member of the ANC, arrested by the police of the ANC, put into jail, and then was taken in front of the magistrate of the ANC. But the person who got him a lawyer to actually help Mcebo Dlamini was the EFF. Yes. And it doesn't end there. We have a program where we have taken pilots, kids who wanted to be pilots. We trained them to be pilots. And right now, they are successful pilots. They're flying in the air. So as the EFF, we have been doing a lot of things. I'll give you an example now. CIC was talking about Abantwana Baga Sindiso Maka.
Yes.
In the funeral of Sindiso, ANC stood there and said the children will not suffer. Guess who right now? Guess who right now is taking care of those kids? It's the EFF. So the EFF is actually doing a lot of things. And as we speak right now, in my own house, my wife is doing pets drive every month. Every month, we have got a package, small package with a roll-on, padsy, bath soap that we go into our community as the economic freedom fighters, because we understand a girl child who does not have money goes and experiences that period at least once a month. We are not doing it once and say, that's it. On a monthly basis, how long does it take probably for a roll-on to finish? It takes a month. So on a monthly basis, we're doing that.
So basically, are you saying that the reason why you are not growing as a political party is because of the smear campaign that is designed to discredit you as a political party?
Also, I think because they don't take cameras with them, because with us, let me not distance myself from my part. We don't take cameras with us when we are going to do good, like the other parties do.
Let me give you an example. I want to borrow words from the mouth of Helen Zille. Helen Zille comes out and say, there shall come a time where the battle will be between the red and the blue. The red is talking about us, the blue is talking about the DA. And he says, because these are the only two organizations that know what they want. So what Helen Zille meant, I'll now progress to borrow more words from him. Let me borrow from Steenhuisen. Steenhuisen says that our goal as the DA right now in 2024 elections is to prevent the doomsday coalition, which is between the EFF, the ANC, and the controversies. Why? Because these are the pro-black parties. Why are they trying to prevent black parties from coming together? It's because they know if EFF is in the center and driving this coalition, what is going to happen? We're going to have more than enough votes to be able to change the constitution. If you combine these three, you get 2/3 majority. And why is it that a 2/3 majority is a doomsday for DA? It's simply because we can do anything. We can rewrite the constitution with a 2/3 majority of these three. And again, out of these three, their target is not necessarily Umkhonto or ANC. Their target is the red, which is the EFF, because they know the EFF will start to influence, because we can negotiate. Believe me, we're very good negotiators.
So now tell me, because we're almost at the end, what hope are you giving to the next generation? Because now we're passing on the baton. it's child time for some of us in terms of age, in terms of
Yes.
abogogo abaningi sabashoni babe-ANC, then there's the next generation, but now we're looking at the youth, the 17-year-old, the 18-year-old. What hope are you giving them as the EFF
They
to look forward
hope.
to?
Great. You see, that one is my favorite. You know why? Because those kids have got a bigger responsibility to set themselves free. The old people have fought apartheid, they've done that, but now it's up to them to choose the right party that is going to have their best interest at heart.
But it's pointless to vote. They don't want to vote.
No,
so
they
what
need
can
to
you
vote.
say to them in terms of Abafuna voter? Please just tell them.
Especially the
why
first-time
it's
voters.
important.
How
Yeah,
important.
why it's important for them to vote.
I think I've spoken a mouthful, leadership, to say that they don't need to listen to the negativity that is in the media about the black child. That's number one. The black child has got a bright future that
Tell
is
them.
waiting them, that is awaiting you as a black child. You need to make sure that you go out there, you register to vote, and then after you've registered to vote, guess what? Go and vote for the EFF and make sure that you give us an opportunity, try us, and see what we can do for you as the EFF. Give us enough vote to be able to make decisions without needing anybody else. And on top of that, your future will be safe, because we are saying you need to be skilled, you need to be educated, you need to be employable, and you need to be a business person. You too can do it. Thank you very much.
Amandla! Amandla! My leader, hona le tabanyana e tse e feta mo social media, ha re tsebe bonnete ba yona. Re eme kae ka taba Mbuiseni Ndlozi? Re utlwa ntse ho thwe Mbuiseni Ndlozi wa kgutla, Mbuiseni Ndlozi ha ho etsahalang? Hona le eo e tsebang eo ka re highlightang ka yona?
Leadership, what I know is that everything else lies in the hands of Mbuiseni Ndlozi. If Mbuiseni Ndlozi want to come back, Mbuiseni Ndlozi is always welcome, because our constitution states very clearly that if you leave the organization, resign, and you don't join or go wear a t-shirt of another organization, you can come back. And if Mbuiseni Ndlozi want to come back, we are saying Mbuiseni Ndlozi is so much welcome to come back.
No, well said. You know, I'm almost sold. Almost. Not completely sold.
Yeah, definitely. It's good.
Sold.
It's good. Yeah.
No, thank you for coming through. But I wanted to find out what's happening with your CIC being mentioned in the Madlanga Commission.
Yes.
Leadership being mentioned, name dropping leadership. It's something that is very normal. And what is happening there in the Madlanga Commission, there is no concrete evidence to say that CIC has any hand in this. It's just somebody who said these companies are from the CIC. And then the CFO, who was told to verify with the CIC, comes back and says, I don't know the CIC. I only know him as the CIC of the EFF. But like I've told you before, that because you trend when you say anything negative about the EFF.
But I need to say another thing as well, that we're almost done. Is the EFF anti our General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi?
Actually, the EFF is the one that supported Mkhwanazi first.
Yes.
Earlier in the days, the CIC came out and said, I told Bheki Cele, I want to say in verbatim. He says, I told Bheki Cele that there's a guy that was there, Lee Uniformo. Yeah, that is a real cop. That guy must be made a national commissioner. Secondly, when General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi came out and said this is the rot that is in the police, it's the EFF that tabled the motion to have an ad hoc committee to investigate this, and that encouraged the president to actually establish some kind of a way to probe these things that they are true. It's the EFF that actually supported that. But what we are saying to General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi is that we appreciate all that, but General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi should not find himself where he's now entering the political arena and then he opens himself out for criticism about organization, whether be it EFF, DA, or whoever, because when you start to enter the political arena, you start to create questions to say, maybe you are doing whatever you are doing because you are starting to push a narrative of a certain organization. We are saying, Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, General, you are doing very well. We are happy with your work. Keep on doing the great work that you are doing. Meet violence with exactly the gun that they come with. We happy. Actually, we wish General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi can be appointed to become the National Commissioner of the Police. That's all what we want.
Okay. So, my leader, before we wrap up, I know this is rather maybe old news as far as today's current affairs is concerned, but the what do you call that? The judgment that came out for our CIC.
Oh, yes.
What does it mean in terms of us ever standing a good chance to be in power? Because I understand that as a political leader or president, you're not supposed to have been in jail for certain years in order for you to run. I don't know, also stand to be corrected there. But in general, what does the judgment mean for the EFF and our CIC?
Okay, firstly, I'm going to say this, that the judgment one is a very racist judgment. And it's a judgment that is motivated by racial bias and racial hatred.
Yes.
To give you a simple example, in a similar case, former President Robert Mugabe's child, a few days ago, was just fined 600,000.
600,000. Yes.
Yeah, for pointing a gun. And when you look at the situation and you check it properly, that was attempted murder.
Didn't he murder?
No, he didn't
Somebody
murder,
was
he had it
injured.
shot.
Somebody is sitting on the wheelchair because that person was shot at the back, but was just fined 600,000 rand
Deported.
and deported. What is the difference between him and our CIC?
He
It's
didn't
simply
shoot anyone.
because, no, remember when what Trump said? He said, arrest that guy. So
Yeah.
it's an execution of an order by Donald Trump to arrest our CIC. Secondly, what does it mean? At this point, it means nothing when a leadership. Why? Because we have been given leave to appeal the sentence, and we also moving to appeal the conviction in itself. And once something is reviewed on appeal, when you look at that clause there, it says if you have been convicted for more than 12 months without an option of a fine, you cannot be in parliament. And then it further goes on to say that if it's on appeal, then this does not apply. So it's actually on appeal at this point. It does not affect us until the appeal is concluded. And if we feel that the appeal as well, it has gone in a way that we don't like, we'll appeal it to the higher court until we reach the constitutional court. Somewhere, somehow, we'll find someone who is sober, who's going to agree with us when we say this is racially motivated.
So South Africa is basically a puppet, and Donald Trump is a puppet master.
South Africa is a mess. I don't want to say it's a puppet. South Africa is a mess. And South Africa is run by the people with money.
Yeah.
And if you do not have the money and you have the loud mouth, they will try by all means to deal with you. So Donald Trump has been trying to do everything in his power to silence our very successful CIC in terms of CIC has actually is like a Moses of our child. You know, he's taking us from captivity of lack of economic emancipation. He's taking us into the world of economic freedom in our lifetime. So they want to deal with our Moses, because when they deal with the head, you know what happens when you deal with the head? You deal with the shepherd and the flock will scatter.
True.
So that is what they are trying to do. But we want to assure them and tell them right now that we are ready. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
No, thank you so much for coming through and clarifying all the misconceptions that everyone had in terms of the EFF. I, for one, like I said, I sit here and we argue for days in terms of what the EFF stands for as a party. But you have clarified a lot of things for me, and I do wish Uti other platforms as well award you the opportunity to clarify all these misconceptions. Because in terms of the media, I wrote a book. I did speak about the media, feeling that the media was being bought because they reported only what they wanted to report. It doesn't matter which political party or which organization, they relate the message that they wanted to relay, construed the way it's construed. But in terms of you as a political party, I am happy where I am sitting. Like I said, I'm almost sold, almost.
Can I count on your vote, my leader? Can I count on your vote?
I think if you are standing my leader, she's going to vote for you.
If I have anything to do with it, can I count on your vote?
Yeah.
Have you crossed over?
Can I wrap up?
Before you wrap up, madam,
tomorrow, remember, it's been cancelled.
Okay. Yeah, in case somebody didn't see
it has been
yesterday's show.
cancelled. So the 2nd of May, Something Soul, we will not be hosting. It has postponed. If you have bought your tickets, though, you can keep them, and then they will update us on the new date.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Unfortunately, as jive, but again, from me, Louisa Malahlekane, I am signing out from the ghost chair.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, leadership.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So talk to the lawyers. Don't talk to me. You want to talk to me? You must be prepared upstairs because there's going to be a problem. So we must never be made to fear. We must never fear anyone. We must never fear prison. We must never fear death. We must never fear the police. We must never fear the criminals. We must never fear the establishment. We must never fear white people. Wrong is wrong. It must be confronted right there and there because it's wrong. Let's not be scared. We're not a nation of cowards.
Your peace is sacred, your heart deserves light.